COVID starting it off with Landon Dosher. And we're live. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, you sexy sons of bitches. So to start this shit off, for all of you that are brand new to the channel, to the podcast, just finding us. If this is your first episode, my name is Jeremy Fawcett. With me is one of my friends, Landon Dosher, and my channel is about talking about, my podcast is about talking about just weird thoughts, weird theories, whether they're mainstream conspiracy theories or it's just brand new way of thinking. I've been told through most of my life I have a really weird, different way of looking at things. And I've been asked to do a podcast way back in the day, which I was like, what the fuck's a podcast? Why would I do that? No one's going to fucking listen to me. And then I listened to Joe Rogan a lot the past like 2 years. And he said, start a podcast. So you know what? I'm going to listen to the man. So I started a podcast so you can hear my weird thoughts, theories, and point of view on the situations at hand. Real quick break. I own Inhale Bliss, which is Nampa's #1 glass gallery in the state of Idaho, which is the Treasure Valley, born and bred with all of them motherfucking potatoes. So if you get potatoes at the grocery store, that comes from the state of Idaho. This here is a Dabber Jaws recycler collabed with Happy Time Glass. This motherfucker functions, rips, and shreds all your dabs. Not for sale. Sorry, suckers. This one's in a personal collection. Oh, yeah.
So can I buy it?
No.
What? No. But I'm your bestie. That's fucking awesome. It's got a tornado effect?
Yeah, it's called a recycler. And that slow drain, if the camera didn't catch the
I don't
even
smoke weed and I want it, dude. I don't even smoke and I want it. Dog, it's giving the little tornado effect, and I love it.
Listen to that chug.
Bro, if I've bought my little brother that, I'd be his favorite brother for at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, for real. But you, if you're not local in the state of Idaho, we do have a website where you can purchase all of our goods and help support the business, the cause. And I'm working on the Patreon channel. So for all of you that have been asking, how do you donate? Where do you donate to? I'm still working on the words to put in that Patreon channel. And so I can give you guys the full deets of what's up. I don't need money. I want to let you guys know that. I don't need support, but there's some of y'all that are like, bruh, I love what you do, and I want to help encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. So, like, I appreciate that, man. For all you guys that said that shit, bro, that's like, dude, that's really fucking cool, man. And much love. I love you guys.
I'm over here so like, cool. Where's my cut? Where's my cut?
Start your own podcast, bitch.
Can't do it, dude. I got this $20 mic and this $10 headset. You know,
hey, we all start. I started my business in my apartment, and I was driving with the 2007 Pontiac Grand Am that was beat to shit. I couldn't drive at night because the headlights were pointed up. You feel what I'm saying? And like, I didn't have a license, I didn't have insurance, and I drove to sell a $20 pipe or a $30 bubbler and like an $80 bong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was driving dirty.
What was your margins at that time? Like, what could you do with the inventory that you had? Are your margins much better now?
It's the same. It's the same business
same
model.
Margins?
Yeah, it's customer service, and it's just like people want to buy from someone who's honest and knows what they're talking about. Like, people don't want to. It does, like, when they would see me roll up in this piece of shit car, or when they pulled up to my fucking ghetto ass apartment, and then they come into my home and buy from me, like, I set their guard at super ease, because that's who, like, that's just the thing that I do. Like, I help people find what it is that they need to make their situation better, no matter what your situation is. If it's needing a cell phone, needing a vehicle, or needing a bong, like, I'm truly there to help take care of you. And like, if you have second guesses, if there's anything I can do to help appease those second guesses by asking questions, reassuring, or just like, you go out and you think about it, you do your own research, and then you come back to me just as due respect of like, yeah, you're right, so I'm going to buy from you because you set me straight. That is the #1 compliment. And so like that's why I say I love you to the folks that are like the only couple people that are like, bro, how do I donate to the channel? Where's your Patreon page? So I'm working on that. Thank you guys so much for bringing that up so that I can add that. But to finish, my unpaid sponsor by Inhale Bliss, who's my primary sponsor that allows me to be self-sustained, financially free with my own business. If you're not local to the Treasure Valley, which is like Idaho, inhalebliss.net, we have Sezzle options, so you can buy a bougie piece just like this and make payments.
So that was one of one piece right there.
That's right. This is one of one, but we have 3 more. No, I'm sorry. We have 2 more in the shop available.
But that's 3 of 3 then.
No, motherfucker. Color means a difference, okay? And that is
there a different color but the same thing?
Yeah. And they're all slightly different.
I want one. How much are they?
$2,000 for the full color.
Okay.
And we have Sezzle. So if you go to inhalebliss.net, you'll check it out. Type in Dabber Jaws. Dabber, one word, Dabber, space Jaws, Jaws, just like the movie. And you'll see the last 2 that we have. They're fucking, they rip. This is my favorite daily driver. They're like $2,500. Well, this one's like valued around $3,500. That was the highest offer I got on it. People are like, dude, I would never smoke out of that.
Wait, they're bidding you up on it now?
Yeah.
Dog, that's insane.
Yeah. I have some nice pieces in my collection. I have some Joe King.
I got you, but that's insane, dude.
I have an old school Colin Kennedy, bro. Like, oh, my old school Colin Kennedy bong is fucking sick. But topics, not to get off topic, some things we're going to be discussing today on the podcast to get you guys ready. I took sticky notes. I'm getting better. The COVID deaths being inflated, and that was announced like way back, and we'll touch on that. Flat Earth equals too many people on the phones. I deciphered the flat Earth conspiracy theories, so you guys stay tuned if you want to hear that. It's fucking crazy. Oh my god. Now we got the nationwide announcement of a girl missing that potentially her boyfriend killed, because now he went missing, but he didn't really go missing. He just left his home that he was living at with his parents out in Florida, man. So you can't find him to ask the motherfucker questions. We'll go deep into that. And then we got the Afghan families demanding a payback for the American government drone striking those 7 children, that 1 aid worker, and a couple civilians.
Yeah, Biden just strike.
What?
Biden strike.
Last thing, the Biden strike. Last thing we're going to be talking about is how China avoided blowback of the COVID-19 SARS-2 virus, and how potentially the new strains aren't very new at all. Stay tuned on Just Your Average Citizen to find out more on these crazy conspiracy thoughts. Freak of the world, motherfucking that THC free popsicle. If you're watching video, you see exactly what we're talking about, how he sucks that down. God damn. All right, bro. So first thing I want to talk about is the flat Earth theory. So,
oh, man.
What do you know about it, bro? What do you know about it?
I don't want to know. I almost want to like turn my brain cells off every time I hear this theory. But At the same time, it's almost like a Game of Thrones novel. It just keeps going on and on and on. And every episode I get is like a new edition. And at this point, they've made an entire world and fantasy world, and I love it. But then it's just scientifically retarded. What do you think about it? What's your thoughts on it?
Okay, so flat earthers are like, the world's flat. But in space, okay, when you're in space, which I've never been in space, just spoiler alert about my life, I'm grounded here on Terra, and in space things collide together. Okay, so it all falls together and creates rotation, which grabs more shit to grab onto and pull in, which eventually creates its core, or like however the fuck it works. Maybe things sift up and down. Um, how you got iron and nickel and like all that other crap, which I don't know. I'm just your average citizen. I'm a fucking idiot. So you got the flat Earth. So there's some person that started this a long time ago, and they was like, man, there's a lot of people on their cell phones. I imagine that they can get all the information in the world on their cell phones, and then you just see all these zombies, all these drones on their cell phones. And you can't call them mean names, but the world is flat. And back in the day, we thought it was round, and those people that thought it was round back in the day, when everyone thought it was flat, they would get burnt at the stake, or we'd lynch them. So a lot of motherfuckers got lynched back in the day just for saying the world's round. Well, now we're going to bring it back by saying you harness the world's information on your cell phone and you walk around like the phone is your world, but the motherfucker's flat, ain't it? So we're going to call you flat earthers for all of y'all that hang out on your cell phone. While us country folk, we just going to sit back here with some Windows 98 and type this up real quick so someone can catch on and spread the good gospel. That's what I think. I think flat earthers are people that are glued to their cell phones. If you have more than 2 hours a day on your cell phone, I consider you a flat earther now. That's my thoughts on it, because we literally can't go a day without our cell phones. It's like people call it
I would love
disease.
to.
People call it a disease. They call it a sickness, but really it's just an addiction, right? What's the difference
Well,
from the three?
I'm seeing it is we're basically turning into cyborgs because it's a part of us now, and our computational ability highly depends on our ability to have a phone with us. Like now we're like, okay, don't think about this math. Quick, grab the calculator on the phone, make the phone do that side.
Oh, speaking of
Eventually,
math,
the phone's going to eventually merge with us. We're going to be part. The phone is actually going to start being a part of our mind.
well, who's the Oregon governor? Kate Brown. She removed math and a couple other subjects from being needed and required to graduate high school.
That
Did,
makes sense.
did you see that? And they said it's because you're racist. If you're better at math than somebody else, you're a racist. So we have to remove it from the required
Well,
curriculum.
all the Asian kids just fled Oregon
Probably. Yeah, probably because they're smart
because
as fuck. Them
they
parents.
need Yeah, their parents want them to succeed, and
Uh huh.
Asian Americans are actually the most successful race in America right now.
I'd say culture. I don't like the word race. It sounds
It
racy.
is. Oh, a word hurt your feelings.
Oh. Well, I mean, we're all the human race. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never really got that. Like, what's your ethnicity? What's your race? Like, where's your parents from? Were you born there, or your parents from there?
If we
Like, what's your
had to
culture?
math it, that's what I'm saying. If we had to math it and we had to break it down, Asians are doing better than any other type group in America.
You
There
can
we
say
go. I didn't
race.
use.
Like, that's just my like. You're not gonna
Okay, thank
offend me.
God.
Like, whatever you're
Uh,
comfortable saying, bro, just say
uh,
it. Like, you're not gonna.
uh,
That offends me a little bit because my
uh.
girlfriend was doing that to me earlier, and like, it's kind of bringing me flashbacks.
This right here.
Uh huh. And then it was like deep, and then she threw up a little bit, but it's fine. Um,
Ew.
and
Ew.
then with the COVID deaths being inflated, I know some of you that are listening might be like, "What the fuck do you mean by inflated? You fucking weirdo!" But you have to think like the government gave commission to any and every hospital that reported somebody as COVID-19 positive. So if you died from COVID, even though you got hit by a bus and that was your death, if you had COVID or if you were around somebody that had COVID with like their contact tracing, then you died from COVID because they're unsure of who died from it, right? So they inflated the numbers. Like, I think it's like 20% of the people that have actually died from COVID have actually died from COVID. So I had COVID and I got really sick. I'm still not going to get the vaccine personally. And if you
Well,
feel
you have the best antibodies right now.
that's
You have
right,
a higher you have a higher chance of surviving it forever now
it's like
because you
4 to
survived.
20%, some shit like that.
You're actually way higher. They're looking at all the studies and they're
While
saying
while you talk about the
Moderna's
studies, hold on, I'm sorry. I need to grab another beer. I'll be right back. Keep talking about the
beer me,
studies.
bro. Okay. So the Moderna came out. That was actually better for Delta variant. And then the studies that came out of Israel basically put the Pfizer vaccine more at 46%, whilst a natural immunity is actually going to be much, much higher. They don't know exactly the duration, but let's be honest, your body's going to be able to recognize that sickness and go, oh, there it is again, produce antibodies and get rid of it. So we should always, always, always look at natural immunity as the best possible outcome. That way we don't look at vaccines and think, well, the vaccine's going to help me not get the worst of the symptoms. Well, let me tell you something. Natural immunity is a blessing. And it's like grade A
Well,
versus
that's a really good point too, because like being naturally immune, like supposedly, I'm not a fucking neuroscientist. I'm not a biologist. I'm not smart when it comes to knowing all of this shit. So I watch Brett Weinstein. I listen to Brett Weinstein. I follow his Twitter. I see the things he talks about. I hear his discussions on Four Horsemen, and and then I also follow Josh Rogan on Twitter, and I read the things that he posts. I listen to his podcast and the information that he brought to light that started to
Josh Rogan. You mean
yeah,
Joe Rogan, right?
no, Josh Rogan. Um,
Is his actual name Josh?
yeah, his actual name. No, there's Joe Rogan and then there's Josh Rogan. Josh Rogan
There's
is,
two Rogans,
well, I think it's spelled different. It's like Orogin. Um,
but they're
he
not related.
No, he's a investigative journalist. He is one of the reasons why the lab leak theory has so much backing on it, is because he discovered so much fraud and lies and deceit through his investigating with his journalism. Like, the dude's a fucking animal. He sacrificed his life to throw Fauci under the bus for his fucking lies and manipulation. Surprised he's still alive, to be honest. Like, that's fucking crazy. He's straight attacking the most powerful people on the fucking planet right now, some of them, by discovering the actual truth and putting it to light with his contacts. Like, the dude's a gangster. I have so much respect for the motherfucker because he just wants the truth, as do we all. The point that Dosher made, Landon Dosher, aka Bond Dosher,
The one and
if
only.
you the one and only Bond Dosher, if you are upset about taking the vaccine only because they're forcing you to, that's your God-given right. Like, we shouldn't be forced to do something we don't want to. Like, you have to understand, all of these politicians that are career politicians that have been in office for like 20 to 60 years, these people grew up in the day and age of being forced to. Like, there's no real communication growing up. It was like, you do what the fuck I tell you to do, or you get an ass whooping, or you get grounded, and then you have to sit in your fucking room forever. Or you do what you have to do, or I'm going to beat your ass. That was most of like our lives, their lives growing up. And they got their asses whooped. That was back when like paddles with fucking holes in them so that they can get more thwap on it. You know what I'm saying? You have these hard asses that grew up as hard asses telling us the way that we need to live their lives based on the way that they were told to live their lives as young children. It's weird. And when you have that kind of control over a free society, I disagree with that shit. As should you, being an American. If you're in California right now and someone comes into your home and they start stealing shit that's under $900, the police ain't gonna do shit, bitch. I think that's LA County, actually. This motherfucker just put on aviators. For all of you that aren't watching, like, those look really good on you. It makes your face look even weirder.
Do you know how fast you were going?
The fucking cop. That's fucking great. So that's my point, is like, I don't like being controlled. I don't like being told that I have to do this and that with my body, which brings me back to the abortions. Like, I had this thought earlier. So I feel like women can do whatever the
I sh-
fuck they want with their body, just like men can do whatever the fuck they want with their body. If some fucking
until you make
idiot,
a new body inside you, and then that's another body, and you don't have the right to abuse that person's new body.
are you talking about babies being reproduced inside a women's embryo?
Yeah, that's a new body. Don't fuck with that person's body.
You know what? What's your stance on being forced to take a vaccine?
Um, they can take this bullet. Okay, well,
Okay.
okay, it's definitely gonna be my body, my choice on that one.
Oh, but a woman that has something growing inside of her that she doesn't want there, she can't?
Well, growing inside of her. You mean
Yeah.
a new body? She's growing a new body. That person has a choice. Yeah, they do. Don't even.
No, no, no. That's what I was saying with your mic. Cover your mic. Don't pull it closer because you don't have the.
Sorry, I was getting the authority. You know.
You're good. No, bro. So like, but no, honestly though, because like we're being forced. Not we as Americans. They're trying to implement this, but there's Americans that are taking a stand, and because we live in America, we aren't getting shot. We're not getting told to shut up. We're not getting forced to stay in our homes. We're not getting abused by authority. We kind of are by like increasing taxes and such, but that's a whole different topic.
They know they can't control Americans, so they're gonna out tax us.
That's the
That's
government's way
the.
of punishing
Hmm.
Americans with capitalism is they just tax us into oblivion by increasing taxes on cigarettes, alcohol, required goods, water, electricity, rent, property, everything. It all
And they're
skyrockets.
specifically going after rural people right now. They're taxing us by the mile. If you live in the city, you don't have to drive that much. But if you
That
live out in the country, you have to drive more, which means you're going to get taxed by the mile.
Yep, you get taxed. We don't have all the readings on it. This is part of the infrastructure bill. It's a 3.3 trillion dollar infrastructure bill that we don't have eyes on yet.
It's
Um,
the Green New Deal packaged in terrible lacing with more money
well, we're all
and just
fucked with
hellacious taxes. It's just tax after tax after tax. I mean, if they bring this online, I mean, I'm going to see Democrats voting for Trump in 2024. If
maybe.
they get this taxations going through,
Do you see the recall? Okay, so just for our listeners, this is for our listeners. Literally half of our listeners are outside of America. Literally, it's like 53% are Americans right now, and the other half are from all over the fucking world. So
you know what's too crazy with that? The people from outside the US is probably getting less filtered news. The people within the United States is getting the propaganda filtered news. It'd
that's
be really interesting to get some of the followers outside of the US and get their perspective on what the news is saying about us.
if you're watching on YouTube, please leave your comments below. If you're watching from international, if you're watching on Spotify from outside the country of the United States of America, please shoot me a DM, a message of your source of news and like the things that you see going on in your own perspective or however translated. I don't care. I'd love to hear your fucking thoughts. Hit me up on Just Your Average Citizen on Instagram or on our Podbean account at Just Your Average Citizen. Shoot me a message. I'll have my Patreon up here super soon, so you can shoot me messages with your donations, which will make it even easier. But there's so many ways to contact us. Just Your Average Citizen on YouTube, as well as Podbean.com, as well as Instagram at Just Your Average Citizen. And you'll see the logo once you type it in. Just Your Average Citizen. Bam.
Yeah, I love news from like India. Like I watch some India channels on YouTube. It's unfiltered, man. Like because they buy half their military equipment from Russia and half their military equipment from the US. India, they don't care. As long as they're getting a good deal, they don't care. And so they tell it out how it is, man. In India, they see the United States the way it should be viewed, the way it should be seen. And so I get a lot of good information out of India news.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy because they don't care. They're like, wait, we hate China? Okay, we hate China too. And then they're like, Australia's our friend. We're like, Australia's our friend too. Israel's our friend. Hey, Israel's our friend too. Russia's our friend, and we're like, whoa, hold on now. And Russia's like, hey, we love supplying you guys with military equipment. They're
Well,
like, yeah.
that brings back to my point too, because you got China, who's not very good friends with India, and then you have Australia, who was voicing their demands for China to leave the free sovereign nation of Taiwan alone. Uh, there's this department in the White House or the federal government somewhere in Washington D.C. that named the People's Republic of China, and then they changed it to like Taiwan or some shit, and that was like a spit in the face to China. So the escalations with China, there's Nancy Pelosi was in an interview, and she discussed how they know and they acknowledge, they being the federal government, the people of Washington D.C. know and acknowledge that the Chinese government is committing acts of genocide with the Uyghur Muslims of China. They're holding millions of people that are Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps and work camps, cutting off the women's hair. Um, what's the word? Sterilizing? It's not sterilizing. They're fucking. Yeah, it is sterilizing. They're
Sterilizing the men, fucking the women. It's not hard, man. They're
and
taking the women. Chinese men. There's too many Chinese men. There's too many Han Chinese men, particularly because the one child policy back in the day. So they have a whack ton of men left over. So what they're doing is they're like, well, we've got a bunch of Han Chinese guys, and we don't like religion, and we especially don't like an unassimilated group. So what they're doing is they're coring. It's called coring. You play a lot of games where you core a group of people. Well, you send in males who take all the females and they reproduce and make families with them. That's called coring a providence. That's what they're doing right now. They're coring their providence, is making it more Han Chinese. So that's what they're doing with that providence right now. And it's kind of how World War II started. It doesn't, it's not the same, but it rhymes. They're also bologna slicing India right now. They're trying to take a little sliver section of their border, and then a little bit more, then a little bit more, and seeing how much further they can get into India without India responding. But of course, India responded. India having a more experienced military, they um, they are much more combative in a more strategic way. China doesn't has not fought any good wars in the last 50 years because of internal conflicts and everything that's been going on. So
so with
India
my
really,
lack of knowledge of warfare, like real warfare. I've
yeah. What do
never
you
been
want to learn,
enlisted
dude?
in the military. Well, I know a lot and I don't know shit. And at the same time, I've never been enlisted. I'm not a veteran. I'm not an active military personnel. I don't know shit. I'm just your average citizen. I'm a fucking idiot. But I'm also not stupid. And I play a lot of video games. That doesn't mean shit. But I'm also really smart tactfully as well. Like I'm good at chess, checkers, never played Go. I'm just making myself sound even dumber the second I talk. But I will say this next war that's fought is going to be fought totally fucking different. The same way the Nazis started World War II, they grabbed land and the world did not react, and then they kept grabbing land and moving around, and then they armed themselves, and then finally Europe went to war with Nazi Germany, and Nazi Germany crushed everybody with new tactics, new weapons, and they almost fucking won. Thank God they didn't, because I wouldn't be here. I'm a motherfucking Jew. I'd be fucking, I'd be burnt alive. Well, not burnt alive. I'd have been gassed and then thrown in a fucking death chant, ugh, a fucking fire pit. That shit's fucking dangerous. It's disgusting. It's terrible. with Elon Musk talking good about China, that's him having good face with China. Whether what his thoughts are his thoughts, right? I have no fucking idea. I've never met the man. I've never had a private conversation with the man. But he's smart because he has SpaceX. He's going to Mars. China wants to go to Mars. China's building like, I think it's a 2-mile long fucking space station. Something up in space that's a 2-mile long fucking spacecraft. He knows when SpaceX goes to Mars, it's an American company that's going to be taking American people to Mars to build colonies. He knows China will be on Mars as well, whether it's through SpaceX technology or their own technology. He knows that. So he doesn't want to have
technology that they've stolen from us.
Whether it's stolen or it's theirs.
It ain't there. They haven't been able to make their own technology.
But
they're not that level yet. But they can replicate very well.
They do. They really do. And that goes on the fact that the lab leak theory is very strong. And I personally believe that. I believe that happened since the motherfucking get-go. And the Chinese government, that moves to us, China avoiding the blowback of COVID-19, SARS-2 virus, by threatening the U.S. and the world governments. A top secret. I have no idea if this is true. This is just my thoughts. This is top secret, never to be disclosed to anyone. If you talk about it, it's a death sentence. It's a death sentence if you talk about it. You guys need to follow our suit. The new world is coming, or whatever the fucking theories are that you have about the Great Reset, the New World Order, whatever.
New World Order. You will comply.
And if you don't, you're going to die, or you're going to get shunned out, or you're going to get canceled. You feel what I'm saying? Like with the social media networks, if you don't comply to their basic ass terms of not talking about certain things, you either get a bump in the algorithm to where you get a fuck ton of followers, and then you have the potential to get paid a small amount to a very large amount of money, depending on how well you conduct your pages, or the algorithm gets turned to 0 to where the only people that can follow you and see you are those that have notifications turned on. Because of the things that I talk about and the posts that I make on my social medias, the only people that see it immediately are the ones that have notifications turned on. The ones that don't see it immediately and see it days later are the ones that follow but don't have notifications turned on. So the algorithm switch and what's going on with social media to help control the people's thoughts and actions based on where they shop, what people's viewpoints they are able to hear to support, are all determined on the creator's ability to follow or not follow the agenda of social media. Social media pages like
An echo chamber. The same thing gets repeated over and over again, and it's from the top down. You get information of what they want you to repeat, and when you don't say things they don't like, you get banned, you get striked, you get hit. It's not hard to understand what they're doing. You know,
Facebook's has been questioned in 2021 about the use of Facebook and the misuse of Facebook and the different programs that they have on the back end. Facebook is working with the FBI to coordinate stuff, and I forget the information on the top of my head, so I won't really talk about it, but you guys can look that up. Facebook, Senate, FBI hearing, right? Something like that. I have no idea. It's been a while since I read about it, but Mark Zuckerberg's been fucking grilled by Rand Paul, and to get back
nothing will happen of it. Nothing will happen of it. It's all a pony show.
To get back on topic with China avoiding the blowback of COVID-19, my theory is the people way up in the Chinese government, because we're just your average citizens. Like, we don't, guys, girls, we don't know shit. All we know is what's on our fucking screens and what's on our fucking television, and then basic information that we know that we were taught on, like how to live off the land maybe, or like what the fuck ever else. But aside from that, it's all on the screen, bitch. they don't want us to know that it was China's fault because it could potentially cause a war. Nobody wants a war. Nancy
War.
Pelosi openly admitted the federal government, the United States military knows the Uyghur Muslims are being oppressed. They're being on the verge of genocide. It's
No,
genocidal
they're being
acts.
genocided. It's already happening.
It's genocidal acts on what's happening to the Uyghur Muslims in China. And the American government knows this, but they're not doing shit. So my theory is the Chinese, because the world governments ensued the same lockdown procedures that China did, other countries more extreme, other countries less extreme. And then in the United States now, I think it's over 2 years now, 2 years later, some countries are super extreme, or some states are super extreme, some states are less extreme with their procedures. And you see all the different results. California was the United States of America. It was the number one economy for taxing. It was the world's fifth largest economy. When the new census comes out, the state of California is no longer going to be the world's fifth largest economy, which means the federal government is no longer going to be receiving an insane amount of money from the state of California, which in over the course of 6 years, that's an insane amount of money, guys. That's an insane amount. It's none of us that are listening to this podcast as of right now have ever seen or will ever see that amount of money. You can go to California, LA County, you can go to Los Angeles County, go into somebody's home, break down the door, and steal under $900 worth of shit, and the cops will not arrest you. I don't even think you'll get a fucking ticket. You can do the same thing in a grocery store. The rules and laws and legislations and shit right now that are being written in is to just bring it down. And it just brings it down and it brings it down and it brings it down until we're all on our knees until certain states are like, no, we're not putting up with the shit. Other states are like, just listen to them so we can get over this shit. I will not be whipped into submission, and neither should you. And that's what governors, mayors, and federal officials are doing in certain states and certain counties and certain cities, is they're whipping their people into submission. Where in the free sovereign nations and states, they're not. And the outcomes are dramatically different with the people, with how people are treating each other and their communities. Like Australia.
It seems the only way we're going to be able to fight back is at that governor level. And when our governors fight back, it gives the people a footing. When your governor doesn't fight back, you're basically getting bent over and told to do what you have to do in order to survive. Well, I mean, we don't actually have a shortage of nurses. We have a shortage of people allowing nurses to have the freedom of medical choice, which is what they prescribed to. And they don't want to be forced to do something they don't want to do. So they'd rather quit these horrible, overtaxing jobs and just go on a travel job or do something else and make more money doing it too.
Well, and that's
this
the thing.
Is a self-made policy. This entire nursing shortage is a self-inflicted wound.
Well, and they don't really see a loss of money there either. They see a big they see a spike of cash flow. When I say they, I mean the people that own the hospitals. We don't know them. Nobody knows them. Some of you do, but you ain't listen to my podcast. When these nurses quit, that's what, $112,000 to be a nurse, depending on your overtime, right? They quit, boom, nurse gone. I ain't taking that shot. Great. That means we just made that much more, and that's going back into my pockets. Because in hospitals, the whole thing is to compile compliance. You have the ones that are compliant. Even though you're overwhelmed, you're going to stay compliant. You're going to stay here because you need the money, so we own you, right? It's owned financially. Even though they don't own you, but they do, because they can say you lose your job or you get the fucking shot. We don't like that. I don't like that. Most Americans don't like that. Most of the people that I've spoken to say they don't like that, but they got it or they didn't get it. I didn't get
Completely
it.
your choice. You're an adult and you have to make your big boy decisions.
It is a choice, but in America, you get penalized financially. And a lot of folks, if I didn't own my own business and I was forced to take a fucking shot, I don't know what I would do, especially if I had a kid, because I don't get my son. My son's mom has him, and she won't let me see him. And if I was in a position not owning my own business but working for someone else, making like, let's say, $180,000 a year, and if I quit because I don't want to get the shot, I don't get the unemployment that I paid into because I quit because I don't get the shot. The Fed's not going to acknowledge that. You feel what I'm saying? That's my theory. I don't know that for a fact. But that's scary because then you got a kid, you got a family, you got bills. What are you going to do? You're getting fucking strong-armed. You're getting run. You are getting fucked. And then we don't know what we don't know what the vaccine's going to do in 3 years. We don't know what it's going to do in 5 years. What are the side effects? What if the vaccine protects you from a future virus? What if all these different variants, the Delta variant, these variants are going to come get you. You better watch out. We got the Lamb variant. We got the Null variant. What about all these variants? What if they're like strategically released so that there's different variants that are lab made from the same fucking lab? This is just me just thinking. You feel what I'm saying? Just thinking outside the box. Take away from the cell phone real quick, pause it, and just think. How can this actually be true? Well, I wasn't tested for the Delta variant. I was tested for a COVID virus with the nose swab. I wasn't given or offered a fucking blood sample to tell me which variant I have, right? I'm assuming that's like 98% of Americans. Just assuming. Make an ass out of me. Do it. I double dare you. So, like, no one knows. It's just what's out now, and that's what they're assuming it is because it's the most logical thing, right? Since we're not getting tested for specific strains, there's no way to actually know. I believe it's all fear. It's just fear mongering and it's fear tactics. It's all over the news every fucking day, all day, because they just want you to think about it nonstop so that you get the jab. And by getting the jab, if you actually get the virus and you get into a big community, I grew up with chicken pox. And when I had chicken pox, all of my friends came over and we all got chicken pox together. That's how it was in the 90s. That's just how.
That's the same with me, but it was syphilis.
But it was syphilis. What?
What?
You had syphilis when you were 8?
No, all my friends came over and we gave each other syphilis.
Oh man, that's a fucking sausage fest, huh? Jesus Christ.
What? It wasn't guys. I only had girlfriends when I was younger. I only liked hanging out with girls.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's weird. Sounds like
it was a
time.
Joke. Calm down, Jeremy. Looks like you didn't have as much fun when you were 8.
I played G.I. Joes. I know you had a hard childhood and shit, but
what do you mean? How'd you hear about that? Did I tell you?
Well, we'll talk about it on a different podcast.
Cool.
Yeah, no.
The breakdown of my life podcast.
Well, I mean, it's just like do you mind if I just little brief?
Yeah, you can do a synopsis.
So the synopsis of fucking Landon Bonjour Dosha.
Sound like Italian, dude.
He was adopted as at a younger child. Him, his sister, and
12. I was adopted when I was 12.
Yeah, and like his life is fucked when he was a little kid. Like, god damn. Did
I tell you the whole story?
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot I did.
There are fucking shitbag. What's that movie where they get like kidnapped on the street, and then they got like the fucking clown world and like
What
one of the
fucking
rooms.
movies are you watching, dude?
It's a fucked up movie. It is fucked. Like, oh my God, there are some shitty, absolutely shitty people out there. We just watched a movie last night. It was the second part. God damn it. Why can't I? No sound, silence. I don't know. It's this guy with the gray hair, gray beard. And in the beginning of the movie, the first one, I watched the second one last night with my boo thing. The first one, this chick and this dude break into a house to steal some shit. Lo and behold, he's like an ex-special forces, but he's blind. I forget the name of the movie, so I'm really sorry, everyone. But this guy ends up killing the dude, and then like he ends up finding the girl later in the movie. Spoiler alert, he has her tied up in the basement, and he rips her pants off, and he injects his own semen into her to make him a baby. And
that's
like,
what I'm talking about.
It's fucking crazy. They made a second movie that has almost nothing to do with the first fucking movie, and the parents, oh my God, like, what the fuck are you doing wrong with your fucking life to turn out like that? I'm not going to spoil the second movie. You got to watch it. For all the good parents out there, you'll be like, you see, son, you see, daughter, that's me. For all the shitbag parents out there, you're like, yeah, I do that. Fucking scumbags. But where we were going is, so China totally avoided the blowback, and I think the whole world is a bunch of pussies. Our world leaders are a bunch of fucking cowards for the most part. Not all of them, but some of them. Maybe most of them.
I remember at the beginning of World War II, I mean, all the fucking cowardice that happened with Germany, it basically started, that's what started World War II. And so the same thing will happen with World War III. We have cowardish leaders, and it's just going to start again. I have a wasp on my webcam, so I'm going to see if I can get him to come in front of the camera.
A wasp? So
yeah, he's decided to hang out today.
And that's my point, is by not taking action, anxiety will fester.
I got him.
As will
Mr. Wasp.
This motherfucker has wasps in his house.
Meow.
Distracting.
Meow. Look at this dude. Look at, I'm gonna eat him. What if I eat him?
He's absolutely batshit crazy. I don't know what I'd do. I'm a coward. I'm a big pussy when it comes to like wild, fucking crazy creatures charging at me or just. But anyway, so you got
him inside the glass mug.
You got the world governments that didn't do shit when Hong Kong got completely. All the leaders of Hong Kong
capitulated.
You have
capitulated.
That's a big word.
Mm-hmm. It's a big word, but the United Kingdom was supposed to defend them if China did something like this. The United Kingdom hasn't been able to do anything in a long time.
Great. There's the UK. Thanks, guys. And then you got the virus that spread everywhere. China locked everyone down. The rest of the world did the same shit. More extreme, less extreme. Intelligence had to know that it came from China. Our intelligence had to know that. But
my pet wasp is in here.
They didn't. No one acknowledged it. Everyone played a part in the manipulation of the people. And when I say everyone, I mean the world governments fucking played a part. No one spoke up. No one said anything. The mainstream media, government officials, fucking Fauci, you fucking piece of shit, lying faggot. Fuck you. Anyone that's gay, I don't use that term to fucking hurt gay people. It's just, I grew up in the 90s. That's just what we say. Like, don't have your panties up in a bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy is a lying scumbag who told people to wear masks, don't wear masks, wear masks. and no one
Yeah,
even
he
wears.
literally he funded it. He funded it through the NIH. There's no way around it.
When
And
he says he funded it, Dr. Fauci, the president or the top person of the world, is it the WHO or the CDC? WHO,
no,
right?
he's in charge of the NIH,
But,
which is the medical side of the government. He's the highest
okay.
paid doctor in the government. He no actually he's the highest paid official. He makes $400,000 a year. He makes more money than the president. And so when his advice comes through, it's supposed to be sound. If you're getting paid $400,000 from the government, your advice better be top notch. And in this scenario, it wasn't top notch. It was just a cover up.
He
It was a
he was
cover up for all his actions.
he was telling people, wear mask, don't wear mask, wear mask, wear a handkerchief, wear a scarf, wear any kind of facial covering. But like, so I worked at a dispensary over the weekend. I was hanging out in Treasure Valley Cannabis Company, big plug, and I was selling some of my glass there for my shop. I was wearing an N95 mask. While wearing the mask, I couldn't smell anything. Nothing. I could smell nothing. When I took the mask off and I was outside, I could smell all the weed. Smelling means it's hitting you. It's going into your lungs. It's passing through your nasal fucking shit that fucking detects smell. If you're wearing a cloth mask and you can smell someone's fart, you probably got COVID from that fart. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's viral, which means you breathe it out, and if there's no ultraviolet light to destroy the COVID-19 virus, then you're going to breathe it in through your fucking shitty non-N95 mask. So all you people that are wearing these masks, the ones that really care wear the N95 masks. And I respect that. But everyone else that just wears a mask, I just tell myself, you're a basic bitch. You're just a compliant basic bitch. And if this offends you, you know what? I'm not sorry. Like, it's just, you're a compliant sheep who's a basic bitch. Like, you only wear a mask because you're told to wear a mask and you see this cute mask on the internet, so you're going to buy it because we live in America and it's capitalist and I just like to buy shit. But, like, that's what's fucking wrong with this country. And that's why you fucking idiots voted in this fucking retarded ass, brain dead fucking president who's had 2 brain surgeries. The guy's had 2 fucking brain surgeries. And we voted him in anyways, knowing what the fuck was going to happen. Just crazy. That is how
So I'd
China
like to
avoided the blowback. Hold on. That's how the Chinese government avoided the blowback of the COVID-19 SARS-2 virus leak from their lab, is by owning people in the governments all around the world, by owning social media content creators all around the world, and by owning celebrities all around the world. We're able to manipulate the feeds that were shared on all spectrums of the internet and the television by telling them this is what needs to happen. I guarantee that's what happened on the top echelon, rolling all the way down the exact way that this virus was spread by the business people and the politicians that flew into Wuhan and flew out of Wuhan. It's spread from the top echelons down. That is how you get shit done. And China, goddamn, if I was in for world domination, I would come join you. And I would say, good fucking job, which I'm still saying now, good fucking job for the work you've done to all these fucking people of the world. Because I would join you, but I'm not going to join you. Instead, I'm going to stand on the opposite side of you. And I'm going to say, stay the fuck away from Taiwan. I will gladly join the fucking draft if America fucking enacts it to defend
Well,
Taiwan.
I'd like to go back to something real quick. You said something about N95 masks. What was your statement about N95 masks again?
N95 masks stop shit from passing through.
I'm about to teach Jeremy something. I'm about to teach Jeremy something. N95 mask. That 95 stands for 95% filtration. The other 5% is what can be expected to pass through. Can you guess what is expected to pass through that 5%?
Bad at guessing.
So this conclusion is this research done by the NIOSH certified that respirators can exceed the expected 5% as anticipated. The N95 filter face piece respirators may not provide the expected protection level against small virons,
So it's like
which
stuff that goes into your lungs, like viral infections, like a
virons, as in viruses, as in viron material, as in COVID, as in COVID virus,
but that's you
passes right
deciphering
through that
something
mask.
that's you
No,
deciphering
it's not. I knew this since the beginning of the pandemic. When they said they were using N95 masks, everyone said that doesn't actually work because it lets the virus pass straight through it. And that's why whenever I see somebody wearing those masks, I'm like, you ain't doing shit for you, buddy. You're not blocking what you actually need to block. You have to have special filtration. The Teslas have the special filtration that you need. If you want to be safe from the virus, driving a Tesla. It has a microbe filter. You could be in a biological attack, jump into Tesla
wait,
because their filters actually filter out everything.
isn't that only the Model X?
No, their filters that they use for their air conditioning is I'm almost I mean I have to look back and look at that, but they are known for filtering things down to the real virus level. And your little simple 2-ply N95 mask ain't doing shit for you.
Because the Model X, you can do like open brain, open heart surgery. You put it on a hazmat mode, and it'll suck everything out, and it'll like lock it in, and it'll only filter in like clean air, and you get that for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's
So like
it's
if you're
nuts.
in
It's
space, like you would
wild.
have like several minutes of like fresh breathing oxygen in space. It's fucking
In your
crazy.
Tesla.
Yeah, only in the Model X.
Why am I in space? Outer space mode activated. Elon Musk called. Rocket launch to save your ass. SpaceX engaged.
That's great.
Yeah, dude. So N95 masks, they don't filter. And that's why surgical masks, they don't use them. And they try not to use them in surgery because they're not strong enough. They
Huh.
need better filtration.
Wait, I gotta piss. Give me a quick second. I'm sorry, bro.
Solid
I'll be right back.
piss. Well, you should filter it with your N95 mask and see what comes through it. I'm pretty sure the real masks that you want to use, it's almost like a biofilter. You're gonna have to go out and get masks that have like almost a charcoal based filter. And I don't think you want to suck rubber for that long. Having one of those rubberized masks that go completely sealed around your face, at this point, just stop. Let your immune system catch whatever it needs to catch. And death is just a part of life. And if you fear death, you'll forget how to live. When you learn how to live, you will no longer fear death because you will understand that it's a part of life. And that's what my main problem with my family has been. You know, I've been raised by Catholics my entire life, and for once in their life, they fear death. And that's not what you're supposed to fear as a Catholic. You're supposed to fear God, live a good life, and when it comes to a close, when God wants it to come to a close, then you love the life that you've lived. And so fearing COVID is going to do nothing for you other than make you frightened and your immune system even worse and not protect you as much. So get out, get get the vitamin D that you need, especially the women, and make sure you get
Whoa,
plenty
wait.
of sunlight.
Not especially folks of color. So if you got darker, so I'm white. I'm white as fuck. And if you got really dark skin, like you're black, you're Mexican, you're Asian, you're an islander, like what the fuck? I don't fucking care what you are. If you have darker skin than what is white skin, take vitamin D because that's a defense mechanism from getting sunburns, so that you can survive in the environment that your ancestors like
Well,
were raised in.
women need more vitamin D than men.
You're saying if they're pregnant or just in general?
No, like women need vitamin D more.
Everyone needs vitamin D though. Like, I mean,
Well,
I don't
especially
see.
if they're not pregnant, they definitely need vitamin D.
Why do you got that? Why do you got to put that pussy on the pedestal, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, women don't always come first. Sometimes it's other kind of people.
They need a long vitamin D, and then they get pregnant, and then they don't need as much vitamin D. Oh, you know what?
Hey.
They can still get the vitamin D.
Yeah, it's called a dildo. Gets them off better. There's this fucking article I was watching on, not watching, I was reading on like Instagram. It wasn't a fucking article. It's a fucking picture with a bunch of screenshots of
That's
these
an official story right
official stories on Instagram, social media for your direct news and media outlets for everything you need to actually know about dildos. There's like all these chicks reviewing like it was a holy god of grail. It's like, fuck, bro, my dick sucks. This dildo is making these women's right. Crazy 5-star reviews.
Yeah, it's like
I can't do
heroin,
that.
dude. Like women are like, "Can I just fuck a robot?" I'm like, yeah. Then you wonder why you have depression the next 5 days because robo dick and human dick are totally different.
They're
It's called
depressed
emotion.
because
You're supposed to have emotion, and sex is supposed to be emotional and physical and spiritual. But you're over here fucking robo dick with no feelings, and then wondering why when you got done with it. Yeah, it was a blast. The roller coaster went up really high, but then you know what happens in every roller coaster goes up really high? Really low lows. So remember, ladies, keep shit in perspective.
I don't fully agree with that statement, if at
Yeah, no one
all.
cares.
I love you, man.
He's over here like, "You check out my OnlyFans. I just took a dildo up the ass. It was fucking great,
It's called I forget my OnlyFans is. Jesus.
bro." Wait, did you start an OnlyFans?
Yeah, I seen how much money my girlfriend was making. I was like, damn, I want to get in on that.
She deleted hers though.
No, she didn't. No,
She
she didn't.
blocked me. That's what happened. She blocked. She was like, "I can't let him see me."
She probably did block you.
But I never followed her, so I don't know how she did it.
There's IP blocks, there's name blocks, there's every kind of block you can put on that bitch. Like, it's really
If
sick.
she did that, I'm impressed, and I respect it. Cause she can IP block my fucking phone. Wow. I almost forgot there was a B in this damn thing. Oh, I was.
And then so
Could have been bad.
you got China. They avoided the blowback, right? So China totally avoided the blowback. They are not even at fault for the COVID-19
The
virus.
blowback.
And as soon as they get pointed at fault, I think that's going to start the Taiwan war. They're going to invade, right? But hey, it's all like what the fuck ever, man. I'm just your average guy. Just
I have an
talking
idea.
thoughts,
Let's
right?
nuke Taiwan and let them have nothing.
You're a piece of shit.
I know. But I also like to win wars, and I'm willing to do anything.
He said that with dead eyes for anyone that's watching.
Straight up.
No, he's just fucking around. He's just fucking around. So
No, I'm not. I'm General Patton.
and then you got the Afghans, right? So like the U.S. government, quote unquote, left all that military equipment in Afghanistan
For China.
I mean, let's be real.
So they pick it
they
up,
left it
you
there
know?
for several reasons, right? So they had state of the art equipment. They had the new guns. What's the new caliber that they got?
There's a new caliber. You
Yeah,
mean like what do you mean by new
it was like
caliber here?
6.8 or 7.2.
Oh, 6x6.8. Like, oh, I know what you're talking
It
about.
was like
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
because 5.56
yeah.
the from the military people that I spoke to, 5.56 is a bad caliber to be killing your fucking enemy with, is because it passes through the enemy and only wounds them. And the psychological standpoint behind that is the 5.56 is going to wound, which is going to take 1 to 3 people away from the fight to drag that
Six
person
point eight
away.
millimeter. Six point
And
eight millimeter Texas based ammunition company.
so when when someone gets shot by the 5.56, it passes through them, and if it hits bone, it's gonna break the bone, but more likely it's gonna pass through. It's not gonna like bounce around inside the body. It's just gonna pass through and stop, right? So if it hits bone, it'll stop and break. But if it doesn't hit bone, it's just gonna pass right through and leave a hole in you, and it's not gonna cause severe damage unless it hits a certain parameter around your heart or your lungs or a vital organ, which then it might pass through or
Yeah,
stop if it
it was
hits a
an
certain like
ethical round.
radius.
That's what was the it was picked up as an ethical round, and before body armor started really getting used. So it basically was a round that would maim your enemy and force your enemy to grab a hold of their squad member and pull them out, taking 3 people out of the fight. And that was kind of the idea behind it. Unfortunately, we were not fighting enemies that care about their squad member, and so we're really fighting enemies that they have to be put down with one good shot, 2 good rounds, and moved on to the next guy. Because messing with the same guy that's on the ground who's injured but still fighting is a difficult thing to do when you're fighting terrorists. You need to be eyes up and onto the next target.
But the word
Um,
terrorist, like you have the FBI, which this was just was it earlier this year where the FBI, there's like 7 or 9 FBI agents that coerced a couple American citizens to kidnap a standing US governor, and it was like 7 or 9 FBI agents that set it up, did everything, and these guys were
yeah, we're
just
being co-opted as a citizenry. We're being co-opted to give up a lot of our rights, and it stems from schemes, right? The government is scheming against its people to steal more power, and in order to do that, you have to basically use extremism and get the media on your side. So that was a crucial moment where we discovered that a governor was going to get kidnapped, and that extremist act would have caused the government to have to find new laws and ways to stop it, which usually leads to more control, more power, more
and
totalitarianism.
it came out that it was the fucking FBI that did it. But
Yeah.
they're blaming these couple fucking idiots for for terrorism when it was the FBI that set it up, planned it, did it, and just had these couple civilians fucking help them with it. It's fucking crazy.
If you
Like,
ever watch The Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, you'll start understanding how the government thinks.
yeah, totally. Like it's a really good movie, and it was scripted really well. And I mean that's kind of like what's happening now. It's just a lot of people getting set up for dumb shit, and there's a lot of people that made decisions and something went south, whether that they knew of or they didn't know of, and they're just trying to save their ass and save face. But like it's certain people are gonna go down, but ultimately I feel like it's
If you watch The Legend of Korra season 1, you'll understand that there's people in the government who use schemes to gain power. So if you watch the awesome Legend of Korra, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
with
For the grown adults in the chat.
wait, Legend of Korra, is that a Avatar?
Yeah, Avatar. So that was the second series after Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is also a
It's a
bomb series.
great
But
fucking show. My
The
girlfriend
Legend of
introduced me.
Korra. Oh
My
my god,
girlfriend
dude!
introduced me into Avatar. I never seen
Dude,
Avatar.
what is wrong with you? I love that, dude. It's so corny. The first series is so corny, and it makes you laugh because it's like your inner child. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't finished it yet, but Wait, what episode are you on?
No, I finished it.
You finished it?
Yeah. My girlfriend,
How
she
was it?
introduced.
Yo, how was the fight in the end between Zuko and his sister?
It was better than Game of Thrones final season.
A real finish, dude. A real finish. Dude, that
Mm-hmm.
fight scene between them, so colorful, so
Hey,
beautiful. Oh,
it was
between the
like
blues and the reds.
it was really cool. No, I like the show.
Dude.
I think the third season was weird. I don't know, but the
It was
fourth
definitely
season,
the lull before the, I mean,
yeah.
it had to dip a little bit before it picked up for the
Well,
extreme, like season.
I think it was just the writers that were involved. It just wasn't. I don't know. Maybe they didn't smoke enough pot. Maybe they fired somebody, but it was just. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been getting it. I think
I, th-
the writing. I don't know. Third season
I
wasn't
think
that great.
they got cleared for 4 seasons, and so I think they got to the third season and was like, all right, we're really setting up big for this fight, but it's dragging out a little bit, and that's what I kind of felt.
Yeah.
If you watch The Legend of Korra, totally different, dude. I really love the
Yeah.
fight, the arena. I hate that they took all the traditionalism in it. If you watch The Legend of Korra, the traditionalism in the second series is it's kind of moot. They kind of get rid of all of the breathing techniques and all the martial arty side of it, and it kind of gets more of like this sense and feel of industrialism and almost like punk industrialism.
But yeah,
Um,
that's kind of like
Still
life
cool
though.
though.
That's like you look at now and you look at the past and it's that's like that was like what, a 2 generation, 3 generation gap? No, it was a two
No, it's
generation gap.
one. No, it's one. Aang dies and the new Avatar's born. So I mean, there's still characters remnant from the last series
Yeah, but look at
in
now,
it.
like so much has changed in 60 years. Like you have the
Oh
hippie
yeah,
movement that was
totally,
spawned by the
totally.
CIA, like you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
and this, the worst part is I almost want to go back to traditionalism. The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for mankind.
how?
Just our jaws are shrinking because we're eating industrialized foods and we're not munching enough. And so our teeth are collapsing and our teeth are getting too bunched up and our faces are just getting smushed back. And we don't have our chiseled jawline anymore. And we're all getting weaker and weaker. And in
Sir,
reality,
I need you to look at the camera. All of you. If you're driving, pull over and look at the fucking camera. Cause I
okay, let
got
me see it.
a chisel ass motherfucking jaw.
Take the shirt off, bitch. Take the shirt off.
I will not take my
Take
shirt
the
off to
shirt
the
off.
word bitch.
Bitch, take that shirt off. Take that shirt off.
I
Oh,
am not
oh,
sexy on the lower
Wait,
regions.
did you take it off?
I took half it off, but is what
Did,
I do want to say is that my face does look kind of scrunched down, but I don't really think I
well, that and we became wage slaves instead of farmhands, and we built things and with our spare time. Okay, think about this: in the medieval times, between the months of March, April, May, June, July, August, we worked. But all the other months we were off. Think about having September, October, November, December, January, February off. We had time to do things, time to explore, time to raid. I mean, we had time to do lots of jacking off, but mainly in other women, other than ourselves. But we had things to do. We explored, we learned, we researched, we played new instruments. I'm not saying it wasn't a poor time and people weren't starving. I'm saying that we didn't spend 364 days out of the year working and only have like 1 or 2 days off. We the
that's
stress of living this kind of industrialist life is is not good for us. Our testosterone is dropping. As men, we need to understand our testosterone drives everything. Our satisfaction in life, our reproduction, our happiness, everything comes from our testosterone level. And all of it for the last 4 generations of men in this country has been going down. And we need to start understanding why. Why our
Plastics,
testosterone is going down. Plastics.
cheap plastic.
Not eating right, not exercising right.
That's pretty much it.
Not rating for pussy in other land. Like we need to
Well,
understand
that
how
was
that
called rape,
affects our
sir.
testosterone.
That was called rape.
But
I'm not with that.
But international law, if we go to somewhere else, it's harder to track us down.
I'm not with that. Plastics. Fuck. Countdown. Her book's named Countdown. I don't remember her name, but it's a
That
cool
was
book.
satire, everyone. I'm joking.
Yeah, he's totally joking. He doesn't mean that shit. Then get your panties out of your ass or your pussy. The book's called Countdown, and it talks about how plastics are reducing the taint in our women and men offspring, so they become less able to produce offspring. It's killing our it's killing our fertility levels. This man's rowing a boat. The fuck? So with the Afghan families, with the Afghan families demanding payback for the drone strike, when we were supposed to kill like an ISIS K, which is like an ISIS Kabul attacker. Like
what are we doing with like
some shit?
we're like serial ISIS K and this is over here ISIS J.
Well, I don't know anyone involved in the Justice Department or the
what are they
department.
coming out with a new cereal brand of ISIS every day now?
Yeah, no shit, right? Like
it was probably the dudes that took over the government that probably did it. It wasn't ISIS. It's the same group.
And those little kids, they died, and that person that was like a worker to like help people get water and food, he fucking died. And then there's a couple of the adults there, they fucking died. And our government, the United States government, says they were fucking terrorists, so they bombed them with the Predator drone. But it was just some little fucking kids and like some dude trying to get some fucking people fresh water and fresh food. And they fucking died because of like a miscalculation or a mistake, or maybe we just had to do something. So it was like, well, it was a 30% chance.
It wasn't a mistake. It was intentional to make the United States lose as many allies as possible. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're being co-opted by our own president to be as treasonous as possible to us and all our allies, so that when it comes time for China to make its advances, it will have as many friends and we will have as little friends. That's what it feels like, and that's what it seems like.
With that being said, I'm going to build on that by saying, you that listen across the world, y'all see the American news networks, and y'all see that America is the place where we are the examples, because we're supposed to be top dog. So y'all look up to us, especially Australia, who's like under insane rules and lockdowns. What's that word where it's like it's not feudalism, but it's like draconian. There we go. The word draconian. They're under crazy draconian rule where they can't do shit. You got animal shelters shooting dogs and cats to prevent people from going to adopt them. And then you got these crazy concentration camps set up where you have to go to if you've been sick or you have been sick, and you have to go stay there for 14 days against your own will. Like, you're going. Like, there's fucking facial recognition drones out there that are making sure that you're fucking hanging out in your place, that you're not leaving your fucking yard. You have to sign paperwork to have a friend come over. Like, crazy, batshit, crazy shit. Like, what the fuck that? It's fucking wild. And I disagree with that personally. Like, we're all going to get sick. We're all going to get this thing. It was man-made. Now we got to fucking deal with it as the people of the planet. We're not governments. They want to control us and lock us down and keep us in place. Maybe this is world population. Maybe this is you get the vaccine and maybe you die 2 years. There's a conspiracy out there about that. I don't fucking know. I don't buy
I
it.
think it's much longer. I think it fucks with your RNA, which fucks with your sperm, and then your sperm and children after that can't have children. I think it's the long haul. I don't think they want us to detect it
From the
until
from the
uh-huh.
vaccine or from the virus?
I think the vaccine does it so that your children won't be able to have kids. It'll screw up your DNA, and so
Because
the
the
long
vaccine,
haul.
people have said, I've read this and I don't know who from. This is something I'm not good at, which is quoting people. I read that the spike proteins, when you get the vaccine, the spike proteins in the vaccine tell your body or some shit to attack your sperm, your heart, and your liver or something? Like your heart and your sperm for sure. Like I know
Your
those two
brain,
things.
it passes through your blood-brain barrier.
Okay. So you get like hella inflammation and headaches.
Yeah, and I think okay, if you remember, this is like biology class almost. I'm pretty sure when your the breakdown of sperm gametes, right? It uses RNA to split off into and part of the process in your in creating a sperm is it replicates your RNA as well as your DNA, and so it kind of it has there's some processes that I have to break down further, but I definitely think that it messes with that process. I think it alters something, and then you basically send out bad sperm that eventually turns into a baby. That like a mosquito. You remember how they're messing with the male mosquitoes, and those male mosquitoes, when they reproduce, all their offspring die, and they're not capable of having like reproducing. I think that's exactly what they're doing with us. They're having all of us basically give off bad sperm that can't reproduce.
That's
So
scary.
every kid born from here on out is going to be non-reproducible
So they
because
won't be
they
able to
see the
reproduce
world.
or
Yeah, they see because the resources of the world is dwindling.
oh yeah,
And
2040, 2050, no water. None. A third,
so
2/3 of where America will have 1/3 of their underwell water supply at the current rate based on the UN projections by 2040. And by 2040, there's going to be, no, 2025, there's going to be 30 nations in the world that are going to be water critical, which means people are going to die from dehydration. And by 2040, most of the world will not have enough water to quench their people's thirst. That's a very polite word of saying you're going a third of the world, most of the world's nations, people will die from thirst by 2040.
so
That's
we
why
need to
Elon
find
Musk,
ways to turn salt water into fresh water as fast as possible and as much water as possible.
and that's why Elon Musk is so hell bent on creating these spaceships that are going to take us to Mars. And that's why these other very rich people like David Branson, is that his name? The guy from Virgin, the guy that owns Virgin
Yeah,
Mobile.
the billionaire that went up in space. Yeah.
His spacecraft got pulled because it went off course. You're dealing with spaceships that are flying from one planet to another planet. Like you can't
Yeah, they lost their
have,
license, you know.
yeah, yeah, you can't
They
have a
lost it.
miscalculation when you're applying for a contract to carry like 1,000 or 2,000 civilians, and you have to manufacture 1,000 plus spaceships to carry people every 18 months to Mars, because Mars is closest to Earth every 18 months. So it's going to be once all this is ready, Elon Musk is building a platform. Every 18 months, there's going to be thousands of ships launched from the world to carry people to Mars. From the world. Like, if you think it's only going to be launching from the United States, you need to think outside the box, which is why my podcast is here. He's friends with China for a fucking reason, because he understands the grand scheme picture of things. A a monarch is only as strong as the monarch is alive. The offspring generations down the future are not going to be the same. They may be worse, they may be better when it comes to a humanitarian standpoint, but not from like a sociopathic fucking I'm hell bent on controlling everything viewpoint. The CCP, to my viewpoint, to my understanding, their whole goal is to make their people live as long as possible. Their people being the dynasty of China. That's it. That's all the CCP cares about, is the dynasty of China, their culture, their heritage, their history, and their fucking future. That's all they want. The American people just care about what can we buy tomorrow. And that's why the CCP does not like America, which is what Dosher was talking about earlier. Capitalism, a lot of third world countries, from what I've read and seen, do not like America because their people are being paid bullshit bottom dollar wage, not even dollar wage, bullshit fucking wages to harvest materials to be made into products by Silicon Valley, which then sells to the world, and the American population, which is only 3% of the world pop, buys up and they make a fuck ton of profit. But when it comes to like movies and music, the American demographic doesn't make shit for that. But when it comes to products, the American demographic turns up a lot for that. So like, what's more important? Bullshit products or culture?
I mean, it's not bullshit products. I mean, it's technology and end user technology, and the method and ability to create a good, fine product is much more difficult than gathering resources, and that's really what capitalism is all about. I think my issue with America is corporatism. Capitalism is, in its purest form, is freedom, but corporatism is what the United States has turned into, where these giant companies have ungodly amounts of power. They scare away all the competition. They use legislation. They use senators. They buy them like playing cards, and they bully anyone out of the field that they deem as a threat. Patreon, just as an example, they showed themselves a threat to Facebook, and 5 seconds later,
I'm gonna
bye bye
grab a beer.
Patreon. You
Oh,
know.
I'll be back, and I'll be right back. Keep going. Patreon.
All right. So, and we got to look at these companies for what they are now. They're powerhouses, and Theodore Roosevelt was like the last president that really applied anti-security laws and cracked down on these giant companies, and made sure that these companies were being competitive. And we don't have that anymore. We don't have anyone in the government willing to step in and say, no, you're being a bully in your field, and you're not being competitive. You're not creating a better product. You can look at iPhone, I mean, Apple, they just dominate the field, and they don't allow third party repairs to truly work on the equipment and fix it. They want to be the ones to fix it. So are you really loaning that iPhone from Apple, or are you actually buying that product and you have the ability to do whatever you want with it? Take it to a third party repairer.
Wait. Time out. Because we don't have a full ability on our phones. When it comes to our cell phones, when it comes to social media, and when it comes to most apps that are available to download on your cell phone, the human being that's using the phone is the end product, which means we're not the users, we're the product. When I was selling phones in a mall, stopping people back when the iPhone first came out, we were the end user. But then they were able to make apps that allowed us to download all of your data and usage on those cell phones. And there hasn't been laws or legislation passed in most governments. China will prevent apps from being on the phones, period, from being able to be used in their country because it's their data and it's their people, and no corporation that is not going to abide by China law has no right to that information, especially when it's all sold for money to marketers to sell you shit. Like it's criminal. It's modern day fucking slavery to harvest people's cell phones and take all of their personal information, which is your fucking soul, not literally, but it's your personality. That's who you are. It's your soul. That's how I see it. And these companies are taking your fucking soul and they're selling it for pennies on the dollar, and you don't get a cut. That's bullshit in my opinion. And with that being said, I just want to steer us back on point with the Afghan families that are demanding payback from the American government for drone striking their children and their friends. If they win this lawsuit, I believe it's going to fuck the American government because they're going to pay out a fuck ton of money, whether it's to those families or all the families that then get in on a class action lawsuit. Who the fuck knows? It could happen. I don't know. I'm not that smart. But that's just a small thing. I don't know much about law. I just wanted to point that out. And with the whole 2021 is year of the fuckery. That's like everything that's happened from 2020 to 2021. It's year of the fuckery. And with
I really want to see how these midterm elections and see if we can rock the government. Well, I want to see if we can really rock them.
I personally believe every election that's going to be done with these computers, I think
from
it's
here
all
on out, it's going to
Democrat
guided. It's going to be guided.
It's all Democrat. It's all going to be Democrat. I don't. All the people that I've spoke to and seen, there's a few that said they're voting Biden just because they were young and they're like, everyone's going to vote Trump, so I'm just going to vote Biden. And that's here in Idaho. I think this nationwide missing girl and now her missing boyfriend who fled his mom's home in Florida.
Why do we care? This happens all the time. It's literally like the biggest distraction ever.
That's my point. This is going to be the turning. This is going to be the the transition. This is the transition from COVID to a new chapter. So it's happening right before 2022. All American news right now is focusing on this missing girl, which happens all the time. This shit happens all the time. But now there's new evidence that says the man was slapping and abusing the woman days before she went missing, which might turn into this guy could go into hiding and become a serial killer. It could go into psychological abuse because it's like psychological month or some shit, like people with mental health issues. Like my whole thing with predicting on what happened was, if that's the case from what I read this morning, the dude slapping a bitch around days before she went missing, and no disrespect to her whatsoever, like rest in peace. Like honestly, like domestic abuse sucks. It's really shitty to be in a hostile environment, a hostile and abusive relationship and an environment for children, for adults, for everyone. Like it's terrible. And if you're in a situation with a relationship where it's just hostile and you're walking on eggshells all the fucking time and you try and talk about it, but your romantic partner is just won't listen or won't talk, it's your choice to leave. Like don't stay in an abusive relationship. It's not good for you, and it's not good for children if you have them. And it's not going to be good for their future. It's going to be difficult for everybody. So before you have kids with someone who's violent and doesn't listen to you or doesn't talk to you, don't take me as your counseling advice. Please just internalize what's going on and take note of everything so you can weigh out the pros and cons. And if you need to speak to a professional, reach out to your closest professional that can give you counseling. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the smart thing to do. But with that being said, he's slapping this bitch around and she's like, and then she goes up missing. And now she may or may not be dead at this campsite in the white tent. So you have this guy who now fled his mom's home in Florida. My theory, after reading this article today, I have enough parts to where I can actually put a theory together, is their relationship sucked. Like most young relationships, at least some that I've been in, was really shitty. But we stay in it because we're like I grew up in jail. I don't know about most of you, but like I've never really had like a relationship like that. And the first one I got into was really shitty. Anyways, long story short, whatever. They go from New York to, I think, Nevada. Is that where they went?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
Arizona.
Yeah, I always
They're
get
doing
the
the
two
whole like,
confused. Cross country road trip, bro. We gotta go see the Grand Canyon, man. And so they go out there because their relationship's rocking. They're like, look, we just need to get away from shit. And the whole way he's probably yelling at her, and then it's probably good. And then like some guy looks at her, and then he like freaks out on her because he's like a beta male bitch, right? And then they get out there, and then they get into an argument, and they're probably arguing the whole fucking time because they're arguing way before the fucking trip. Ladies, gentlemen, if you're fighting for weeks, getting away, like, you need to solve your issue before you get away on a long trip. Okay, like otherwise it's just gonna be cortisol and just fucking really negative energy while you're on your trip and stuck in a vehicle with that other person. Just like go on long trips when you guys are cool and fucking good for like weeks or months. You know what I'm saying? And smoke some fucking weed and hash your shit out. Maybe take some mushrooms so you can actually listen to each other talk. If it's a good trip, if it's a bad trip, you're probably not going to want to be next to each other anyways, but you're going to be so stuck in your fucking brain. Woo, you're really going to fucking not like it. So deal with that shit. Fucking get it. So you got, he's probably freaking out the whole fucking way out there. And then they get out there.
I gotta cut you off here.
Do it. Why?
I gotta work tomorrow. You hit my bedtime.
What is it, 10? Are you
10,
old? You old
No,
ass
my wife
man.
said she needed some vitamin. My wife said she needs some vitamin D.
You tell her she's got to wait. We're on a podcast.
She said she's low on vitamin D.
You tell her she's going to get filled up on some D. But we're on a podcast filming live. She'll like it more. I
need some vitamin V.
You need to stand up for yourself, Dosher. You need to stand up for yourself.
I don't know.
You see, he barely gets laid by his wifey because she just had a baby, beautiful baby, by the way. And when she says, "I'm ready," you need to get your ass in here. He can't stand up for himself.
Oh, I can't. She is. Oh, I need some vitamin D, dude. Vitamin K, V, D. I need all of it.
Some ivermectin.
Some ivermectin in my rectum.
Dude, Joe Rogan might sue CNN.
No way.
Yeah, because they're like,
please.
He'll start the revolution.
See him do it. Viva la revolution behind Joe Rogan.
I mean, he's the people's voice, bro. He really is.
He really is. Brother. Oh my god.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Oh my god, dude. Spotify tried to cap him off, dude. Spotify tried to do it.
What do you mean?
Their employees were getting after him and like, you got to take this episode down, and we're not putting this episode up. You got that damn conspiracy theorist on it. No, sir, you can't.
Alex Jones, the frogs are gay. The whole system's corrupt. Yeah, I love Alex Jones though. He's a great guy. Like, he's really smart and like he's on it and like
he fought the system even when Bush had the system.
Oh my god! Hello, kiss me.
Oh Landon. My god! Oh.
Wait, while my boot thing is on here, so Landon is talking about
why do you get to talk kiss your boo thing and I don't get to go kiss my boo thing?
Because she's not in the fucking same room as you, as she is. As you can see, the Pinocha standing right there with paint all over it. His wife says, "Babe, you need to get in this bedroom and fuck me right now." And he says, "All right, Jay, I am out of this podcast. I gotta go."
gonna text her right now. This shit. Be like,
I would not do the same thing.
Jeremy.
How dare you say that? You know, but she's lying. She's just saying that.
All right, hold on.
I love
Look at her
you.
right now. Be like, hey, do you want sex right now?
Babe, do you want sex right now? Me? She says. She has homework. Yeah.
She's like,
all right.
yeah. She's like, yeah.
Headphones
and the
on.
podcast ends. Podcast ends in a second. I'm just like, well, I got my answer.
He was expecting you to say yes, so I would end the podcast, but he doesn't know the fight that we had today. Yeah, my girlfriend and I had a huge fight. Huge fight.
Let's talk about it.
It was probably the biggest fight we've had in like 6 months.
Wait, are you guys going to Arizona anytime soon?
Are we going to Arizona anytime soon? She's not paying attention to the news. I don't know. She's got a blank face. She's like a deer in a headlight.
Oh, perfect.
She knows what I'm talking about.
She's like a little doe ready to be murdered.
The national news? Oh, she knows that.
Oh,
so
wow.
our fight, because she's standing there like, wait, we had a fight? Because it was a fight. It was me wanting to activate my OnlyFans and her having an OnlyFans, and she got jealous. So jealous. And
dude, you should do a POV of
push her to have her OnlyFans, but she started her OnlyFans. I didn't like really force it. It was her.
Hold on.
She
okay,
had
so
weeks to determine, and she did it. That's
but this is better. Okay, you should do a POV of your perspective, and then her OnlyFans is a POV view of her perspective, and then people have to order both subscriptions to get both views.
Ooh, POV. So Landon just came up with, you have your POV, I have my POV, and then people subscribe to both so that they can get both POVs. Point of view. But it would be on yours. We would be self-advertising for both of us. And then they would get both. So they'd be like paying $8 for my subscription.
POVs.
10 for yours. That's $18 a month to get both point of views of the Fuckfest. That's a good idea, Landon. What do you think?
Dog.
Ben? She's like, fuck you for advertising this on your Spotify, you fucking piece of shit. This is what we were talking about earlier.
What's her OnlyFans name in? Hold on. What's her OnlyFans again?
No, because she got mad at me for fucking promoting her. Like
Miss J? Is it Miss J?
No, it's Miss K.
Miss K. There we go. But it's MISS space K. Is it a double K?
I honestly, I don't know. It's already in my thing. I don't type it out, so I don't remember.
No.
But like our fight, so for all of you that get into arguments and fights with like your partner, your significant other, your girlfriend, your wife, fucking whatever. Like, I do my best to communicate with my girlfriend so I can figure out why she's mad at me, so I can figure out what I need to do, if I need to do anything to change so she's not mad at me. So I can know like how to not like rub her the wrong way, so I know how to like rub her the right way so she's all happy and sexy and shit. But there's also times when I know where like I do something wrong or I say something wrong and I'll keep being my goofy ass dumb ass self, and I know I'm not gonna get laid for like 4, maybe 6 days, 7 days. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit, there's consequences to what we fucking do, and whether it's getting laid or not getting laid, like that's just how it goes, man. Like, but at the end of the day, I love my girlfriend and I'm super fucking vulnerable with her. Like I talk in a little baby voice with her sometimes, most of the times, almost all the fucking times. And like, that's my way of telling her I fucking love the shit out of you. And like, she knows that and I know that, but regardless, when we're turned off, we're fucking turned off. And you're just gonna have to stroke that shit with your fucking hand, motherfuckers. Or chicks, you're just gonna have to fucking play the disc DJ, bitch. Cause like, if a dude's mad at you and you don't wanna fuck, you don't wanna fuck. And don't fucking hurt his feelings because he don't wanna fuck. And same thing with you guys. If she don't wanna fuck, don't you hurt her fucking feelings because she ain't wanna fuck. Own your shit. And so with the missing girl shit and that fucking douchebag boyfriend that probably fucking killed her, that's my stance on it right now based off the evidence. But it ain't a trial yet. He's probably going to go under hiding. He's probably going to get arrested based on new evidence. And then when he gets arrested, it's going to come out that he was abusive. And with this new software update coming out on the iPhone, you're about to see a whole bunch of different new shit coming out, like possibly audio that was never even recorded, but it was stored on hard drives and shit with iOS
Miss
15.
KMISSKAYYY 97.
At OnlyFans to see
I
some
got the
really
juice.
amateur homemade fuck and some beautiful titties and a big fat ass. Go there.
Yeah, I'm not looking. I'm over 21 though.
Yeah, but you guys can watch it while you do your thing later.
Nah, dude, I'm good.
No.
I got my own non-amateur things I do.
Huh? What's that?
What's up, Miss K? 97. Throwing it down.
And that
An argument incoming.
And that tops it up for tonight's podcast. I hope you guys have a great motherfucking night. Landon, have a beautiful night, bro. I love you, man. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Oh, thanks, dude. I'm going to get my vitamin V.
You give her that vitamin D, son.
Hell yeah.
Have a great night, everyone. Be safe.
I'll know if you have I'll know you have a good night when I see the media go from 146 to 145 to 146.
I don't get it.
OnlyFans, it tells you, even if you're not subscribed, how much media that person has. So I'll know that if you had a good night, it will go from 145, which is what it is currently, to 146.
Oh.
See, I knew she was like, if you don't come in here and fuck me right now, you're not getting fucked. And you're like,
no,
podcast
honestly,
is over.
she just dropped my bowl, which is like a $200 bowl from a bong, and I'm kind of pissed the fuck off. So I just.
Oh no, dude.
It's just the tip. That's all she said she wants. It's just the tip, but just the tip of the horn broke off. It's still a really expensive, very precious, hard to make bowl that's hard to come after.
Hey, bro, it's just glass. At the end of the day, it breaks.
It's just not glass, just glass. It's just a fucking piece of
art
art that just burnt.
It's art.
You just drew on a piece of art. Like, what's the point? Like, who cares?
Call the dude back and have him reheat it and fix it. Man, that's all you got to do.
Probably doesn't work like that. I don't think it works like that.
Wait, hold on. Do you got some JB Weld?
But that's my point. Like, I'm not mad. Shit happens. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And unless it's like something really extreme, like shit fucking happens. You know what I'm saying? Like someone T-boning somebody from a stop sign into the fucking traffic lane. Shit, that's something to worry about because that's other people's lives in danger. But when it's material shit, like $4,000 fucking dab rig.
Oh yeah,
made by Dabber Jaws, available at Inhale Bliss. With
all right, throw it against the wall.
Throw it against the wall. I am not. Well, it's not gonna get on blurry, goddammit. But anyways, much love, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode of Just Your Average Citizen. You guys stay safe. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and stay human.
Peace out.
Much love, brother. Have a great night, bro.
You too, bro.